Yerba FM, what is good? It is INXS episode 5. I've got my guest, Zero Idea, with me today. We're set up in a different part of the studio now. They mix things up, but I'm liking the feel on this side. Let's get into the mix.
Jazz to me is a state of life, being a state of existence. You can't learn it in college or university. It's something that you live or experience. Jazz to me is a state of life, being a state of existence. You can't learn it in college or university. university, something that you live or experience.
Hey, yo, check.
Check.
Let's go. I think we're straight.
Cool.
What's up, my boy?
Dude,
We
thank you
got,
for having me.
Of course, we got Zero Idea in the house here at Yerba FM INXS005. This is the first one of the new year. Excited to kick it off this way. I had talked to him maybe like fucking 3 months ago when I first got this show, or 4 months ago, and I was like, yo, like, I got this show. I'm trying to have producers on. I'm trying to get nerdy, talking about music and shit. And I was like, would you be interested? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, let's go. And I was like, all right. I'm fucking stoked to have you on. I think we first met each other from the No Bias compilation last year, huh?
You know, I feel like we may have ran into each other earlier, but definitely started like, you know, talking about maybe working on music, and we played that show together.
Fuck yeah.
And you know, I feel like we were all on the same kind of tip too, right?
Yeah, I think so too. And I would talk to my homie Kevin about this. Such a small scene up here in San Francisco. Techno's an even smaller scene, and then you start getting into like what kinds of techno and what kind of techno scenes are out here. So it's super, super, super small.
Yep.
Like you can probably think about like the certain promoters or producers that are like in these genres that are in San Francisco, and it's like nothing over 20 people, you know.
Definitely.
But I remember telling Kev, I was like, yo, like, who are these fools? Like, they like, you had thrown a couple shows already with the Domain. I'm like, yo, this shit's fucking sick. I'm like, why aren't we homies with these guys? Makes no sense. Like, we're into the same shit. Like, it's a small ass fucking city, and we were neighbors at that point too.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I didn't know
right
that.
around the corner.
Yeah, I literally didn't know that at the time. Benji used to live around the corner from me, on the Richmond, and yeah, I think the first time I went to your house, we were practicing. I think I had you up. I was like, yo, let's back to back for the No Bias. What is it? Bay Area Renegade Tracks Volume 1. And I was like, all right, sweet, let's do it. My track for that was a fucking miss, but gotten a lot better with production since then. Nah, you know how shit goes though. Yeah, dude, I'm fucking happy to have you on.
Stoked to be here.
Something I start off asking my guests is like, tell me your story with like music, with production, like just general exposure. Like, did it start when you were a kid? Did it start in high school? Like, were you going to shows? Like, what is your experience from like getting into the world of music?
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up playing guitar, and that was my first exposure to music, and kind of classic suburban white kid growing up, you know, listening to classic rock from my parents, and wanting to play classic rock and rock on guitar. Was in jazz band in middle school, and then kind of took a step away from music and was focusing on like basketball at the time in high school.
You were a hooper?
I was, yeah, which is so, I know people don't think that.
Let's go.
But yeah, so I played basketball in high school, and that was like my goal for a while. I wanted to play in college, and I got really burnt out from that. Was going really hard, and when I got to college, I had some friends that really like wanted to try out the rap thing. So like my initial goal was to be a music agent. That's what I really wanted to do, and like manage artists.
Absolutely.
And be on kind of the business side, if you will. And then, you know, my friends were making beats, and I was like, you know, let me give a shot. You know, like FL Studio, and I had the music background, so I was like, I think I can pick this up. I picked it up. Was making beats for a while and like doing that whole thing, sending beats out to people. I don't think I ever got anything placed ever, so that was very short-lived. But
I mean, were you like rapping at the time? Did you have homies that were rapping?
God no,
like...
God no. Yeah, just like friends or like people in my hometown and stuff. And then I was exposed to electronic music in general in college, and was really exposed to kind of the pop side of things in terms of like tech house, like Fisher and shit was coming up, which is really funny. Yeah.
And you and I are the same age, right? So college for you was like 2016?
Yeah, I graduated in 2019 and started in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, there was a really like the college radio. I went to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, okay,
and the
sick.
college radio put on some events that were like underground for slow. Like there's this place called Cuesta Ridge, and they would throw like raves up there and these like bus parties with bands and DJs and all this stuff. So
that's pretty sick. That's very college-esque.
Yeah, and that was like my first exposure to like electronic music in that way, and like what a rave is, I guess. And I got really into it. I fell in love with it. Like, started going down the rabbit hole, YouTube, and just like, there's one mix that I can call back to is when I found Dave Angel's 36 flavors of funk, or 36 flavors of tech funk, and I might be butchering the 36 part, but that mix was like, okay, this is like what underground music is. Like, this is not like...
In terms of electronic music.
Yeah, in terms of electronic music, not fucking like pop tech house, which I still hold dearly. But this is like, that mix like set it off. And then I kind of went down the rabbit hole, and then when I graduated college, and I grew up in Santa Clara, so just 45 minutes south of here.
NorCal till you die, bro.
And I always wanted to either live in SF or New York. And so I ended up in SF, got a job out here, and I happened to get into a roommate situation with two guys who were really like involved in the house community here. One was a DJ.
What year is this?
This would be 2019, end of 2019.
Okay, cool. So like deep house like era of like
house,
music?
Yeah, like, you know, pre-COVID. And so I would like go out, not necessarily with them, but like they would, you know, tell me about stuff. And my roommate had a setup. He had 2 turntables. He had a Zone 92. That's where I got my love of Zone. Shout out Patrick. And he had a ton of records, and he was super into like samba and like and house and funk and disco, everything. Really into Latin music. And then, so I would just like hear it at the house, and I had my production set up, and so it was just cool. And this is like, you know, 4 months before COVID hit. So like once COVID hit, I was just in the studio every day.
Yeah. Just
every day.
Listening or making?
Making music.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, I hadn't even started really DJing yet.
All right, let's rewind a little bit to hip hop. Because I was talking to Akash, and he kind of gave me the same thing with like, his older brother was really into trap, and he was in Atlanta, which was like a huge hotspot for like that style of music at that time. What were your influences in hip hop? Was it like this boom bap sort of feel? Like, what were you listening to at that time? Like how do you start? Because coming into like an underground feel of techno, like where did it start with hip hop? You know?
Yeah, I think you know in middle school it was like Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
Used to cry to How to Love.
Yeah.
It's a crazy song.
Lil Wayne, and then, you know, like as we got into high school and stuff, that was like when the Atlanta thing was popping off, right? And like, and then even in high school, kind of in conjunction with that time was a lot of the SoundCloud stuff. So like Suicide Boys, Lil Uzi was coming up there. Like what is it, Lil Ugly Mane, and like even like Wi-Fi God, the DMV guys, Wi-Fi God, like Five Finger Posse, like that kind of stuff. Was like I was super into.
Sick.
And even from like a production standpoint at that time was doing my best to try to get like the crunchiest 808s and like that kind of thing.
That's fucking dope, dude. So you started on FL. You posted a picture the other day of like bringing out this thing, and you were whipping out an MPC 3000, or was it a 1000?
2000 XL. I got
2000 XL.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Please tell me you were making hip hop on that.
Oh no, I mean to be real, I just like fixed it so I'm still in learning phase. You know. Okay. Everything in my production journey has been software based, whether it's FL or Ableton.
Okay. Yeah. Dope. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, damn, that shit's probably so fucking fun. Because when I had seen you post it, I was like, I was searching for like a new like addition to like my hardware setup, and I was like, I had the Machine Plus, which was cool, and it's MPC like in terms of like the pads and like the big dial on it and shit. And it's supposed to like mimic that to an extent. But I was looking at the MPC 1000s, and I had an old roommate, and I was picking his brains when we were playing video games. I'm like, yo, you still have your MPC 1000? You still fuck with it? He's like, yeah, honestly, I've gone back to it. He's like, I got the new MPC 1. He's like, I don't fuck with it. It's like all this shit I could just do in Ableton anyways. So like, I'd rather if I'm gonna use an MPC, I'll just use it where it's stripped down and I only can do what I can with it. So I was really curious about like the workflow with that. But that thing's like a fucking giant.
Yeah, it's a tank. And I mean, yeah, I have to say, I know nothing. I've tried to make a couple beats with it, and you know, it's like, I was able to put some drums down, and that's about it. But yeah, I had bought that like 4 years ago, and the floppy drive failed. It was during COVID, and I just was like, it kind of just sat on the shelf, along with a lot of other gear. I've like, you know, went through that phase where like, oh, I need the gear, and then I was like, you know, I can do anything in Ableton. But this year, 2025, that's like a big goal of mine, is like, once I'm kind of done with the projects that I'm need to finish, then that would be where I'm going to be spending most of my time, is just like getting that hardware workflow down. From a production standpoint, I don't think I have any goals to like do live sets or anything. But more honestly, just to get away from the screen. Like, I work on a screen, my day job, and like I'm just over staring at a screen. It's like not good for my health, not good for my eyes.
It's not,
it's
and
fucked.
You know, having hardware, at least for me, having that break of like not like constantly monitoring what you're doing and like waveforms or MIDI and stuff like that, just like looking down and hearing only, has done so much for like, even like this, not necessarily fully like my style of production, but it does a lot for like my sonics, where I'm not like over worried about like, well, I always push the reverb this amount, I always push the delay this amount because I like that sound. It's like, no, I'm just doing it to my ear and what's gonna work with that track, and it's really fucking nice. Like, I've really been enjoying like taking that physical step back. I'm waiting on a couple pieces of gear right now, and I'm gonna set up my stuff in the living room. Like just my hardware stuff, so I can like fully be out of there and just be on some tiny little shitty speakers and just like spend time learning the gear, you know, a little bit more, and like working through projects and like working through different files and like seeing how things sound that way. And then, I don't know, tracking back in hardware is, that process escapes me. Like, everybody has their own way of doing it, and I don't really know how I'm going to approach that when I get there. I've tried some things before, like single tracking the whole thing, which is, you get a certain feel to that. But yeah, no, I'm excited for that. Okay, so you went from hip hop, you had some homies in coming into college that were into stuff. These raves that you went to in like slow, like what kind of music was it?
It was mostly house and tech house. But I fondly...
I didn't even know what tech house was in 2020.
Yeah, you know, like you're thinking like, you know, Fisher, Keep, the like Burning and stuff like that, like Chris Lake, like Dirty Bird, like Shiba-san, like kind of like Heyday.
That's just crazy,
which is, it's like good fucking shit.
Yeah, the Dirty Bird shit, feel, honestly. Like I remember.
And I mean, you know, Dirty Bird's a SF, you know, SF founded label, so yeah, it was stuff like that.
There was I worked for an entertainment marketing firm for like an internship for like 4 months in college, and the Dirty Bird camp out was like one of the things that they marketed for. And like I was just doing like social media for them, and then I'd do like their guerrilla team, so I'd like go out sometimes, and you make more money doing that. And then I'd go promote and like hand shit to people, and that was one of the flyers. I remember that. I'm like, what is this? They're like it's electronic music. Like my boss at the time, she's over at 1015 now. Her name's Afton. She was my boss, and she's like, it's just electronic music. It's fun. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I don't really know much about this, but all right, I guess. Like, that's sick.
I was definitely coming into it like just kind of mind blown at the time, and you know, like, you know, everything that goes along with it was just kind of introduced to it all at one time. But yeah, very quickly like I said before, like went down the rabbit hole and like really found stuff that I was into. And I think like mall grab and like lo-fi house was kind of big at that time, and I was listening to a lot of that. And then mall grab like made his switch, like all the Steel City Dances stuff was more ravey, like harder, grittier, and like, so that was all going on, and this is all just happening in conjunction. So like by the time I like,
how are you listening to this music at this point? Are
mostly
you on
like YouTube?
YouTube, okay.
Yeah, just digging through YouTube. Yeah, and then like, you know, records that my roommate would show me at the time.
Because that'll be like, that's just such a way, like I remember the algorithm that I had was like Park Hygiene, like this realm of like deep house music. There was this dude out here, Kind of reminds me of you a little bit. I don't know him that well, but at least when I first met him, his production name was Computer Data.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, I used to listen to his stuff. Yeah, like,
he was cool. He was he was a USF like head, so I knew of him from KUSF because I had a show on KUSF for like a year and a half or two, and I went to go see him play, and that was like my first electronic music show.
Cool.
It was like him and Chaos in the CBD.
Sick.
And Cornell Kovacs. Fucking great show, and I got him for free from KUSF, and I made some good friends from that show actually. That I'm like still friends with now, and they're like, remember that show? Yeah. That's fucking sick. I remember that era of music. That was like the era of electronic music that I was introduced to because my friend Kevin, he was DJing for my brother when we went on tour for one summer with him, and he would play like an opening set of just like house music and like trap and stuff like that. And that was some of the house music he'd play. So like I have like very specific memories from like that style and like that feel. I remember seeing Ella Minus and Computer Data play at Cafe du Nord.
Oh, cool.
Over off Market Street. I was like, damn, I've never even been in this venue, but this is a fucking sick ass show.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So getting into techno, fucking tell me about your workflow with music. I've seen it a little bit. We've made a couple tracks together. We put out Drain on Cap Street Volume 5. Check that shit out.
Yeah.
Or check that shit out. I don't know which one it is. But yeah, dude, like tell me about your process of like, what's your head state like? What kind of head state do you like to get into? Are you an early day producer? Are you late at night producer? Like, what do you like having coffee when you play? Like, you smoke? Like, what?
Yeah, so I'm definitely a late night guy. Have always been that way. Like, just thinking back to like staying up late and like reading, or like staying up late and like playing Game Boy and shit. You know, under the covers with the light on. You know, hiding from the parents and shit. But yeah, I'm definitely a late night guy. I feel like my creativity strikes a lot when I am, like kind of am able to sit down and not have the distractions of daytime. And so like, I don't know, a funny kind of story is that speaks to this is my first job out of college, like definitely lost that job because I was like staying up and making music like till 4 a.m. every night, weeknights, weekends.
Destructive ass behavior.
Just really bad, and like not having the time management to like know when time is for work and when it's not. And so I've gotten a lot better like that, but that it still stays to this day. Like I definitely like to work at night. Been trying to be better at like managing my time still, but yeah, and then I don't necessarily. You
don't have like a ritual or anything like that. I know some people can be like, I do this, I eat before I start stuff, like I'll drink while I'm doing stuff, or like everyone has like their own thing with that. Same thing if like you're gonna go DJ for a little bit and fuck with some records, like everyone has like their little thing. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I even before I stopped drinking, like I literally couldn't make tunes if I drank, and even when I don't smoke weed anymore, but back when I was smoking, I like couldn't even I just like couldn't make tunes if I was not sober.
I feel you on that.
It's interesting.
I have more, like, I can enjoy those things more as like a listener when I'm like drinking or something like that and like having fun like that way. But when it comes to like production, I think I like to have like a pretty like level head and just be like generally focused on what I'm doing and like have a goal with what I'm doing and feel like I'm in the headspace to get there. You know, like when I go to the studio and like my other homies are there, like it's hard to focus sometimes because everyone's like hanging and talking and drinking or doing whatever. Somebody's DJing in that room. I'm in this room with like headphones on trying to work something out. And like, I prefer to be sober for that shit too. Like just like, maybe I can like track out a song or not even track a song, just like make a beat if I'm bored, you know, like in those spaces or in those mindsets. But like, no, I feel you on that. I like being sober for that.
Yeah, I found like especially with some of the Cap stuff, that was a really like great exercise in learning how to work with people. But in that exercise, I found that like I work better alone within the context of like working together. So like I'm sure, you know, with us, it's like we were kind of working in tandem with Ableton Link. And like you were doing your thing on your end, I was doing my thing, and then we combined it up once we got to a place where we felt like we could do that. But like kind of, you know, like giving recommendations, I don't always feel comfortable with that, you know, like I want people to like feel creative on their side, and like I usually want our collaborations to feel like both of us contributed something to it. But I'm like, it's just like I am not like, I need to sit down and like get into the weeds, and like if the other person is okay with like leaving the room for 30 minutes to do that, or like just sitting there silently while I'm doing that, I've found that works pretty well. And you know, with different people we have different workflows and stuff, but yeah, I've talked to a few people, and it seems like that, like few producers, and it seems like that's not too uncommon, that people just need to like, they want to like kind of do their thing for a period of time and then let the other person come in.
That makes sense. I think when you're working just in Ableton, it's not like you're in a studio.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're in a professional studio where there's some instruments here, some instruments there, like things are plugged in, here you go, like you're fucking around with some shit, and you're like, yo, like let's put this in there. It's like, it's very much so, like without Ableton Link, it's like there's one person manning that, and it's not like we're making other kinds of music where you would have a vocalist tracking for a little bit, and you could have an engineer in the other room with like headphones on that's like working on another beat to try something out. Like it's definitely like you go, I go, you go, I go, and then I'm fucking tired for a little bit, do your thing, like, and like you keep coming back to it. Yeah, making music with people is, I've definitely learned a lot about that in this past year, working with you and like some other friends, which just like, sometimes things click a certain way and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's your fucking head state that day. You didn't get enough sleep and you're like, dude, or sometimes you just have days where you plan on making music and you're working on some shit and you're just like, I'm not really fucking with what I'm doing right now. You know, and it's interesting to share those moments with other people, because when you're by yourself, you're just like, fuck it, like whatever, start something new, or just like take a break for a little bit. But like, you know, when you have like planned studio time with somebody, like, I know that sounds corny and like official, but it's like you're hanging out with someone and you're like, yo, let's go in the studio. Like, there is a little bit of pressure to like come out or leave with something.
Well, I mean, you're right. Like most of us, this is not we're not able to make a living from this right now, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like when you have that time, you want to come and be productive because you have work tomorrow, or you have, you know, family things, whatever. Like,
life.
You have life,
and
like if you come in and you don't come out with something, it's just, you know, can be a waste. But you know, there's lessons in that too. But like, yeah, I think there is definitely a pressure for that, and like you want to come out with something.
Yeah, you want the other person to be happy, especially if they come to your studio or like to your house or something like that. You want them to leave like, oh, that was sick, like, so we keep working on it. Yeah. It's hard to do multiple sessions with somebody because you're like, oh yeah, we'll link again, and then schedules are fucking tough.
I mean, you're telling, right? Like for us too, right? It's like this comes up.
I work nights like 4 times out of the week, 3 nights out of the week. So like other people are free during the nights and I'm not. I'm free during the day on like a Monday. People are like, I'm working. Like, you know, so definitely. That's tough. What would you say your work-life balance is in terms, like in comparison with music and stuff?
Yeah.
Because you work a 9 to 5, right? Like
I work a 9 to 5. I work I'm fully remote, which is nice. So like when I think the biggest thing about that, the biggest plus, is that I don't have to commute. So like when I was commuting into the office, that was an hour each way on the 31 at 7 a.m. in the morning, getting to downtown, and then like come back, you know, 6:30, 7. I need to eat dinner. And you know, start making music at 9 and go to bed at 3 or 4, right? Like now it's like, okay, I'm off work at 5-ish. You know, I can go make dinner, spend some time with my girlfriend, you know, and then like go down into the studio and work on some tunes, usually late, but like not staying up as late as I used to, kind of thing. And then weekends, I mean, nowadays, like I had mentioned that I had stopped drinking before. It's like I rarely go out to shows at this point, and I'd honestly just rather spend my time making tunes. Like it's more fun, it's more rewarding, and I appreciate supporting friends and things, but I'm like I just literally rather be making tunes.
Damn, bro.
Like honestly.
I mean it is like that.
Yeah, and then there's shows that like are really inspiring to me. Like I'll shout out Umami is like one of my favorite parties in the city, and their last one was this like a month or 2 ago. But like if there's special things like that, I'm there for sure, and those are always really inspiring. But like the times of like going out Wednesday through Sunday and like you know, going to check a friend's show out on a weekday or whatever, it's just not in the cards anymore.
Damn.
You know,
it's that stuff is like still in it for me because of working in nightlife. So like my body functions like a little bit differently. Like I'll be going to bed at like 4 in the morning. If I can get up by 11, that's fucking dope. You know, a little bit before 11, I can get up and like work on some music for a bit and like, you know, like drink some like tea in the morning and like just like have a session for a couple hours. That usually ends up making it a little bit harder to get out of the house before I have to do something later. I.e. go to work or hang out with my girlfriend or something. But like I do like a weekday party on Thursdays, third Thursdays over at Madrone, and like, you know, it's tough sometimes, like getting people out. Like I have some friends that'll like pull through. Morgan actually came through last time with like all of his buddies and kicked it like hella hard to like fucking last call, lights up, and Phil was like talking to my homie about like his like turntable setup and shit. And I was like, damn, like it's tough to get people out. It just is. And you know, we're always wondering like what's up with Thursdays. Like Thursday nights used to be big nights in the city, and now like you know, post COVID of course, it's just like really rough to see people in a bar, in a club. I mean, like, let alone like a Thursday night at F8, like, sounds like it could be cool, but it also sounds like who's gonna go out to Soma on a Thursday night, you know, as if it's like a weekend night. People that aren't working like in the morning, I guess, you know, if there's not something else they're already going to. Which I guess we can transition into like, you know, I always like to talk about San Francisco and club spaces and venues, bar-turned venues. I think now, starting in 2025, there is a pretty healthy ecosystem at a lot of venues right now. I think a lot of new parties have started up. A lot of parties that have been around for a long time are coming back again in full swing. And making like going out to some of these venues like really fucking fun. And like, what's your opinion on like where do you see San Francisco right now in terms of nightlife, in terms of club culture and attendance, vibe?
I mean, I think like wherever you are, you can always say the grass is greener or something. You know, like when you talk about like a place like LA or New York, like LA, right? Like very into the warehouse and Renegade and free parties and stuff like that, and like I wish we had that here. And there's you know, there are crews that do that for sure and do a great job at it, but you know, maybe specifically like warehouse scene, like pretty much non-existent. You know, we had a little like 6-month period where we had some stuff going on. But like the club scene, like I think it is fantastic. You know, I've heard rumblings of some new spaces coming up you know, in the next maybe 6 to 8 months, and like, you know, I think the more the merrier for sure. I'm like, the one thing I'm interested in is like, I think, you know, when you think about a place like New York with 10 million people, I don't know how many people are there, but you know, like it's a significant amount more than San Francisco. It's like they have enough attendees to sustain having 4 or 5 like major clubs, thinking like, you know, Basement nowadays, Elsewhere, Paragon, Bassa kind of thing. Here, I don't think we do, like, in terms of numbers of people. Like you have, you know, you throw shows, I throw shows. It's like you have 2 like big shows on one night. Like there's no one else left, like, to go to this stuff.
It's crazy how that works, because you're right. There, every once in a while, like some sort of like planet system or stars align that like, holy fuck, this is a crazy Saturday. There's 3 huge parties with great lineups happening on these days, and it's just hard to, you know, manage that as an attendee, because you're like, I want to go here. At least for me, because you know, we're in the scene. We know people that are playing here. We have friends that are playing there. We have this DJ that you want to see at this other spot, and then you might be playing one of those shows. You know, which is tough. Like there was a show, I think on May 17th last year, 2024. We did our wet rave over in Oakland Forest, and there was like 2 shows in the city that I really wanted to go to. DJ Bone was playing, and then this band called Metronomy that I really like is like, they were also playing City that night. And I was telling my homie like months before that, I'm like, let's go to these shows, be fucking sick. And then our show ended up being that night, so then we have to go there. So I'm like, god damn it. So it's tough to maneuver that. I think you're right, but I think it's in a very healthy place right now. I think shows are feeling really good, and I think one thing for me I haven't really talked about it on this show, but like I want to work on changing, or like talk to more people about people's attitudes while being at a show.
You're saying like etiquette kind of thing?
Not necessarily etiquette, but like openness to music, openness to like to a night, how a promoter can like book a show or orient a show to like promote a certain environment for people to be in and be open to listening to other music. I do like shows that have big headliners, and that's fun, and sometimes they have local support, which is cool. For example, I was just booked for Salute over at 1015 3 or 4 days before that show as like local support. That's cool, I got hit up, but like it's one of those things where like if you could reach out to local support earlier, like you can get an additional group of people in there that might have a different mentality, that aren't used to going to festivals, going to big stages and seeing their favorite DJ play on that stage. You know what I mean? It's a mindset. So I just like I want to talk to more people about how they can like open up more environments like that, because that's a mental thing, you know. You can't walk into a door and be like, I'm excited to listen to new music, because you want to go to a show that's going to have music you're going to like. You know, danceability is a factor in that stuff too, you know, especially if you're paying a ticket to go somewhere. I don't know, I think it's a tough ask. You know? Like,
for sure. I mean, it's like it's a long-term thing, right? It's like when we were starting the domain parties, is like, you know, there's not that many people who are into like, say, underground, like raw, like very raw, like American techno, right? Like, you know, I think you know, if shout out Direct to Earth, right? But they have sound, right?
They do have
like,
a sound.
and like
Quickly,
I love those people.
Tell people who are listening back to this, like, what is Domain?
So Domain's a party series that my very good friend, great friend, Morgan, who I also DJ with for Online Narcotics, we started kind of as a response to like just that niche not really being filled, specifically like really underground stuff inspired by the late 90s and early 2000s, and really focusing on American techno. I know like one of our next bookings is not an American techno artist, but like that sound, and like really into vinyl and everything that comes along with that. And we felt like the group of artists that were under the like Euro touring DJs was not represented in San Francisco. It was represented in LA, it was represented in New York, it was represented like, well, really, I mean, in terms of major markets, right? Like it was represented there, but it was not represented here. And so just thinking like of people like we had Annika Wolf and why is this escaping? He changed his name. Negative Effect now, Billy, and
who was what?
DJ Angel Dust. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, you know, people like them, where it's like they've been putting in work for so long, and like there's just not a party that was like representing that, say, like level of DJ or artist. And yeah, so we probably throw maybe 4 to 6 parties a year. Like budget is super low, like we're funding the shit ourselves, you know, the money from the party before goes into the next one kind of thing. And but yeah, it's cool. Like I think it's just we were really focused on like finding our little niche in the broader techno, you know, community here.
So your response to seeing that was throwing a party that feels like what, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think more intimate. I think that we were really focused on sound first and not necessarily lights and VJs and all this stuff. Like, I think like some of our favorite parties here, that ones that we've gone to have been like very minimal when it comes to like even the branding and the promotion and all this stuff. It's like if you can have a really solid DJ, a really good sound system, maybe a little fog.
Yeah, you need
Like
the fog,
you can
dude.
get into a space, into a headspace, and it was more about just like these are the aspects of the parties that we attended, that we loved, and so that's where we focused on with Domain. I think another big thing was like education, and you know, you were talking about like bringing in subsets of people that like haven't really been exposed to this stuff before. And like, so that's like bookings like Jay Denham, where it's like Jay was in every single DJ's bag. Like his records were in all their bags, but he wasn't necessarily like huge, right? Like he was, I mean, he went, you know, he was touring, he was on the circuit for sure, but like in terms of people who like, you know, define techno, you know, like people, yeah, I don't know, like the heads know him, but like, you know, your everyday techno enjoyer probably doesn't know about Jay Denham, but like, you know, he really like all that like underground raw shit, like super swung out, you know, like hypnotic bass line, like hypnotic lead lines, stuff like that. Like that was him. Yeah. You know?
But
and like also, Quad Young, shit like that.
It's like the style of party that you're throwing. You're almost reintroducing a younger audience to a style of show that isn't necessarily a thing anymore. It is, and always has been, in the underground, that style of show. Now with like commercialization and festivals, like I was mentioning earlier, like these styles of parties aren't what people are used to for music. And because of that, they don't understand that you can be at a show that feels like this and it can still be fun for you because there's not flashing lights and a Coca-Cola sign somewhere. But I think that's really cool that you guys do that, and you give, you know, you bring in legends back up. It's like you're bringing them back to life a little bit in a city that maybe they've never played or they haven't played in 20 years. And like giving like younger people who are interested, whether they're a producer, a DJ, or just a listener, to like feel that again. And it's not like you guys are just bathing in nostalgia. No. You know, there's things to pay respect or homage to, but you're giving people an opportunity to like take a step into like through a door that's going to be a different environment that they haven't partied in. And that's really important to me when I think about Renegades. And what I talked about this with Skylar Vandermolen on the last show. Walking into a Renegade and being in that space, whether it's in like hopefully outdoors, it's a completely different environment. You feel different partying there. You could be taking the same drugs, drinking, completely sober. You're going to feel completely different because everyone else is feeling completely different. And I think there's a lot of weight to that sort of energy that a Renegade can give people. You know, granted that it's like, you know, produced safely and with the right intentions, but I think a lot of that spirit lives in these shows that you guys are trying to do, that you guys have been doing.
That's honestly like the thought I had just right now is like, in some ways it's kind of like bringing the Renegade to the club in some ways. Like, how do we boil down what's really important to kind of the raw, right? Like at a Renegade, like you have limited resources in the sense of like limited people to load shit in, and like you're not, you know, you don't have a space where lights can go bouncing off everywhere. They're probably just sending it into the, you know, into the sky or whatever, right? And so it's like, you know, just I like some of my favorite parties, like I'll call out one like PLO Man, who I hadn't heard of before going to that party, is like sound system wasn't anything spectacular. It was, you know, but it was perfect for the space. And this guy's ripping records for 8 hours, 6 hours, like, and that was one of the most fun parties I've ever been to. I was there till 9 a.m., you know? And that's the thing, like, I think that was the other thing I kind of missed on the first thing is, we are very committed to long sets. I'll just say, I'm so tired of attending parties, being on lineups that are hour-long sets, give no time to let you know, these artists develop the night. You know, and of course, you know, that also comes down to SF, you know, having a 2 a.m. curfew and not being able to extend out. And if they do, it's like I mean, these clubs are really doing it for the love of the fucking game by staying open till 4 and not being able to make any money from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Nothing. They don't make anything.
Yeah. So that, that has something to do with it. I know also like promoting, it's like you have more people on the fly, more people promoting the show, like they help bring more people. But
That's the thing too that I was gonna say. It's like almost like a scarcity mindset where everyone's concerned about turnout at their show. Like we were talking about earlier, like the pool here is only so big.
Yep.
Of people that are interested in electronic music, and then people that are interested in even going to a show, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard this multiple times from other promoters. Let's put more people on, so more people will come.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a very logical mindset to have.
Yeah, for sure, it's rational.
But it takes away a lot from the ability of someone to do what they can. Especially, I don't understand it for bigger shows, where you have like 5 or 6 DJs on when you could have like 2 supports.
Yep.
1, 2 supports, each play like 2 hours, and then the headliner plays like 2 or 3.
Yep.
And I feel like, you're right, yeah. I feel the pressure playing those hour sets where I'm like, I have to build up, ramp, hit peak time, and think about the next artist coming on after me like that.
Yep.
Like I'm 45 minutes in my set, and I look at my phone, I'm like, cool, 45, and I'm like, all right, well now I have to like I have to start mentally coming out of my set.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not in it anymore like I was. Like I can't keep spending time like going back and forth between certain kind of tracks, and like I feel pressure to play peak time stuff.
Yep.
Because I'm only on for an hour. I want people to fucking dance. I'm not.
Yeah.
If you book me to play an opening set, depending on what it's for, for sure, depending on what it's for, what kind of show it is, I will I'm gonna play what the fuck I want to play. I hate playing chill opening sets for stuff. It's just not the music that I play.
Yep.
And I don't want to have to play down to something like that, And I talk about like the job as a DJ, while you're playing includes a few different things. One of those things is looking up and seeing who's in front of you, how they're responding to something.
Yep.
And so when I say I want to play what the fuck I want to play, I'm not just going to be ignorant about it, but I'm going to be mindful about what's happening in front of me too. So it sucks. I mean, having like a 2-hour set, starting this radio show, the first one I did was a 2-hour set, and I only play extended sets when I'm playing back to back with Kev.
Yeah.
On our other radio show, and like getting the opportunity to play by myself longer, I'm like, I need to work this out.
Yeah.
I need to it's like lifting weights. Like I need to get into this a little bit more and find myself an hour and 15 minutes in and be like, okay, where do I want to go from here? Like, what am I feeling? It's way better doing that in front of people because I can look forward, and that's what I'm feeling right now too. But when I'm like DJing at home facing a fucking wall, it's not very inspiring for me to go DJ by myself. That's why I usually turn to production.
Yeah, you're not exchanging, you're not getting that energy exchange.
Yeah.
But I just you're not gonna get the best of that individual DJ with an hour set, and then that just is what it is. So that's a just to go back to the domain thing. It's that's a big principle that we are very focused on how we treat the DJ, whether it's set times, whether it's you taking them out to dinner. Just want them to have an overall positive experience when they come to San Francisco, and want to contribute to San Francisco being a major market, or a sub, you know, just right under a major market. That's all. I mean, and we're just trying to think very long term. It's maybe having 10 people on the lineup would be good for this one party, but how do we contribute to where we want to see the scene go, specifically for techno? Other genres and stuff like that, that there's other factors involved, but specifically for the techno scene here, that's what we're really focused on. There's the three core tenets essentially, is the artist, the attendee, and then the party as a whole. That's how we think about it.
That's how you think about it.
Yeah.
Dope. What's up with the next domain event?
Domain, yeah. So next weekend, Saturday, we're bringing out Mike Dearborn, Chicago techno legend, acid techno, really raw stuff too. And then Linda, out of New York, will be on direct support, and then our homie Philip Yuzu, who's also a part of the Vitamin 1000 crew, he will be opening the night, and everyone's got 2 hours to show what they, what they got, and then Morgan and I, Pulse Finder, Zero Idea, will be in the back room holding it down.
Is that F8?
It's at F8, yeah, Saturday, 9 o'clock, so if you want to come support Resident Advisor. And the shows are always fun. The last one with Jay and Tyrell and Sebastian was fucking awesome. Like, they all killed it. And I didn't even really think about it until this conversation. Like, the whole Renegade, kind of like bringing that into the club environment. Like freaking.
This is only the second one you've done at F8, right?
Yeah.
You did the J Denim one. You're doing this one at F8. The other ones you've been at this warehouse space in this area, right?
The warehouse space, and we still do that too. But yeah, it's fun. Like freaking Oso and Tyrell did like a back-to-back for the last 30 minutes just for fun, and people were like, I don't know, it's just fun and like, yeah, just like, it's always good energy at the parties, and I feel like it's really cool to see like older crowd come out too, and get that like combination of people who like came up like knowing who Jay Denim is, and they were young when he was making music and really in his heyday, and like those same people come out now, and then they get to experience someone like Osofeo, who's on the younger side, and like there's just that connection, and we get it, and the same thing with the show, right? Like Linda's, coming into this on the younger side of things, but really like holding down like really proper shit. Same with Philip, and then you have Mike, who's been in this game for like 30 years, and he has like a lot to show, and he's still bringing it, making tunes and like all that. So
yeah, I was telling you his DJ promo tapes. I sent him a screenshot of Mike Dearborn did these DJ promo tapes. Did like maybe 8 volumes of them or something like that, and it was all just like super like sick, like acid techno shit, very hard. And I've had a screenshot of it on the front on my desktop for like 2 years now or something, because I was like, I'm gonna make a fucking promo tape like this. This is so sick. Like, I could send this out to a club just so they have it. Like, what the fuck is this? Just a flex. I never ended up doing it, but I love doing that. Last question before we go into your set. I'll ask you just about production, like where you've been and where you're at with your music. So you had the Gray project.
The Gray EP. Yeah,
the Gray EP.
The first one,
You started with that, and then the next one, it was the red cover. I forget the name of it.
Wow, why am I forgetting this?
It's 3-track, right?
Yeah, 3-track.
I don't like it or something like that's on there.
Well, I like.
Wow,
why am I like forgetting these names right now?
Anyways,
Climax is on there, yeah.
And then you have the Disco.
Yeah, Disco Days.
Disco Days. Yeah. With Fever on there. I still play that song. It's
Yeah.
just a fun vocal to throw into something. It's super sick. And then you have your most recent one on there, which is your Dubs. Is that your most recent on there?
Idea Dubs 1, Idea Dubs 1,
Yeah. And then, so how do you package those 4 tapes? Because those are 4 tapes that you have on you as like a solo release, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
How do you think about those?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like when I was kind of figuring out how to release music, it's like you kind of have to prove yourself before you might, maybe go the label route. And like, every self-release, I felt like it was an improvement on the last one. And I think like, even Disco Days, that was in January of 2024. So it's been a long time, and then Idea Dubs was like something I like put together really quickly and just really liked the vibe, and like just kind of made, like, I think I made it in a week and like put it out that same week kind of thing.
Yeah,
I just didn't think about it.
It doesn't seem like you, to be honest, or
like
how I've come to know you at least.
Yeah, it doesn't. And like, I think over the course of the last 6 months, I've really like taken a step back on the solo stuff to try to like really define what is the Zero Idea sound, right? Like I've released plenty of songs on VAs, label VAs, Cap Street stuff, and like, I just wanted to take a step back and really make a project. So yeah, I mean, the next like really big project for me is the album. That's going to be 10 tracks. It's called Expressions.
You're a freak for a 10-track album?
It was a challenge. It was a challenge that I really wanted to like test myself, to like put together a full album and prove to people, labels, anyone that I could put together a full project, you know. And I like so yeah, Expressions will come out late April, 10 tracks. And then Rocky and I, Brick, a frequent collaborator of mine and a really good homie, who runs the label Perfect Dark and is also part of Cap Street, have a EP coming out on the Spanish label Drama Barcelona.
Oh, cool.
And that's run by Fio Messi and Paul Perezo, who are like fucking dope producers.
Is it just a split EP?
No, it's all collaborations. All 4 songs are both of us.
Nice.
And that will be coming out January 24th. And that has a remix from Gene Richards Jr., which is awesome. He was like the top guy on both of our lists. And luckily enough, Javier had contact with him, and he was down to do a remix. And yeah, so super hyped for that. Have gotten really good feedback from, like they send out stuff with the promo services and stuff. Have gotten really good feedback from some DJs that I really, and like producers that I really look up to.
Dude, congratulations.
Yeah, so really excited about that. Yeah, so I think like, Q1 and Q2 are pretty set for releases right now. And then hopefully, we'll see how the rest of the year goes. But yeah, those are the two main things.
That's fucking dope, man. That's dope. Put out an album, that's like something I'm like striving for right now. First meeting you and like understanding what you were about, I was like, oh, that's like, you're inspiring. You were like ahead in like time-wise of like things that I was into, and I was like learning. I was like, dude, that's sick. Like, you were inspiring for me to look at. And I'm like, yo, this guy's in the city too. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, like we're neighbors. Like, we're doing similar shit. I'm like, oh, that's sick, man. And this guy's like serious about his production, and he gives a fuck about what he sounds like. I thought that was really inspiring. I think that's dope, man. That's why I'm fucking glad.
That's really kind.
Yeah, dude. Thanks, glad to fucking have you on this fucking show, man.
You as well.
If you want to grab your headphones, we can like hop into your mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll probably start out playing a couple cuts from these projects I was just mentioning, and then I'll run some records for a little bit. I'm not sure how much time we have, but yeah.
Right on.
Cool.
Guys, this is INXS episode 5. We got Zero Idea. We just finished up our interview right now. He's gonna hop and do his mix for a little bit, and then he's gonna cut. He's gonna go play the Vita Rave down the street. Damn near, right? It's like right down the street from here. Thanks for listening. You guys can check back on Yerba FM's website. You can check back on their YouTube archive, on the SoundCloud archive. I'm Agropol Noah. I'll see you guys next month for INXS 6. Until then, peace.
I got something here. I got something for your mind, your body, and your soul. I got something here. And your soul. I got something here.
tuve que entrar a ver si quisieras ser mi amor por vida y si te irías de aquí con el rey. Y si fue solo fantasía o quizás un sueño profundo, pero es algo que lo siento en el alma y lo extraño. Cada vez que paso esta esquina, es verdad, lo sigo buscando. Lo sigo buscando al rey, cada vez que me pongo los zapatos, cada vez que veo el cielo tan azul. El rey, el rey, el rey, lo busco en esa esquina. El rey, dame la mano, llame. El rey. ¿Y a dónde queda?
Just